So the Ramban is, in essence, going into all of our most private lives, the times that you are, in essence, we've learned, is a time that you can simply do whatever you please to do, fulfill every awkward and strange desire that a person has. And he says, I'm coming into that bedroom and I'm taking over and telling you it's really worth it for you to stop acting like an animal. In fact, you should actually consider being holy, the complete polar opposite. And he tells a student nearly 800 years ago that this subject is a holy subject. The subject of intimacy in a marriage is a very holy subject. In fact, intimacy outside of a marriage is one of the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu detests more than anything else. As we learned from this week's parasha, Parashat Pinchas, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, he took a staff or a spear and killed the leader of the Shimon tribe, someone that was already a few hundred years old, but surely was living as if he was 20, because he was desecrating Hashem's name in public by his behavior with a non-Jewish woman, a Midianite woman named Cosby. And this brought the wrath of God into the world to the point where HaKadosh Baruch Hu simply decided that he was going to annihilate the nation. And after Pinchas ben Elazar saw that this is one of the root causes of the great desecration of God's name, he simply put an end to it, knowing that he was going to die as a result, and never even contemplating the possibility that Hashem was going to save him through a series of miracles and actually turn him into a Kohen Gadol and eventually into someone that is Eliyahu Navi. Now, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen is someone that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a permanent covenant with, called Briti Shalom. Shalom is another name for the Shekhinah, where that Shekhinah is literally resting upon Pinchas until this day. He never died. And for what? Asher kineh le'eloav, because he took vengeance before his God. He took vengeance before his God. Now, notice that the Onkelos specifies that instead of translating it how the literal English translation is for Kineh le'eloav, which is for his God, Onkelos says that he took vengeance before his God. Why before instead of for? Lest you think that any act that Pinchas did or that you do is for the sake of God. God doesn't benefit from our actions. Everything you do, you're doing before God as your servitude of God. He doesn't need the act, you do. He doesn't benefit from it, you do. And you see that Onkelos and many other Chachamim take an extra effort to clarify even the basic translation in such a simple manner to know that there is nothing you can do for God, but rather for yourself in your servitude of God. And one that thinks that he's doing something for God will ultimately lead to the conclusion that God needs whatever he's doing for him, and turn himself into the God, and God into the chas v'shalom, into the servant. So now, Onkelos says that he took vengeance before God. And what was this vengeance that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted? Next, another vengeance, which is, he commands Moshe Rabbeinu to tell Am Yisrael, go and oppress the Midianites, and you shall strike them, because they are oppressors to you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, go to war with the Midianites, fight them. Onkelos says, what does it mean? Strike them, kill them. Now, this may not seem like a big deal, but in fact the Chachamim say that this is the second time in the entire Torah where HaKadosh Baruch Hu specifically commands us to kill the enemy rather than just simply hurt the enemy. When we fought the other enemies, whether it was Sichon or Og or some of the others, HaShem did not command us to kill the enemy, but rather to fight them, and that was it. Shalom V'chai, everybody. We're back here in the United States after 6 extraordinary weeks in Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land. We saw extraordinary things there. The beauty of the Kotel, the beauty of the land itself, and of course, the extraordinary beauty of the Chachamim. A huge event where several thousand people showed up to honor the Torah alongside us and also hear the wisdom of Gedolei Ador was what we started the trip with. But along the next several weeks, we got to meet many other Chachamim, spoke in many different places, kollels, yeshivot, Beit Knesset, and we got to see some of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen in my life. But one of the things that we did see that is not as exactly as exciting is the spiritual poverty that's in Eretz Yisrael in certain places. Places like Tel Aviv, places that people are walking the streets without having a concept of what modesty is, without having a concept of who the God of Israel is, without even having a concept that the fact that they're stepping on holy ground. These are our holy brothers and sisters that we've dedicated our life to help to get them closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And one of the things that we're doing in the United States, in Australia, in Canada, in England, and many other places around the world. Baruch HaShem, we've succeeded in doing it. But one of the other things that we did see is also that there's a material poverty. A material poverty is simply so abundant, so extraordinary, that it breaks your heart. We're sitting in our house when the next door neighbor decided to pass by to say hello, and while they were saying hello, they asked us if we have any extra toys because they simply couldn't afford to buy their kids any toys. Of course, my kids gave them their toys, and Baruch Hashem, we got to fulfill the mitzvah, but there are thousands upon thousands of these types of families of Chachamim, families of tzaddikim that simply have poverty as a standard way of living. These are the types of families that we've dedicated our lives to help as well. Over the last few years, we've helped tens of thousands of people to feed them during the holidays, to get them toys, to get them clothes, to get them beds, to get them whatever we possibly can. During this trip, we also lost a very dear friend, one of our partners in the distribution, a very dear friend of ours, Giveret Ital, that really dedicated her life to helping Am Yisrael. We're going to miss her, but as a dedication to her, as a dedication for Klal Yisrael, and as another way to honor our Kadosh Baruch Hu, we're continuing to do our food distribution as well as our spiritual distribution. We need your help. This time of the year is Rosh HaShana, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, the high holidays. These are the times where most people donate the most of their money during this time of the year because they need the righteous judgment. They need the good judgment. They need to be blessed with a new child, with financial success, with a health miracle, with all types of issues. And Baruch Hashem, people know that the blessings of the Mezakei HaRabim, people that have dedicated their life to helping Am Yisrael, those blessings get a special VIP treatment in Shamayim. Over the years, we've had many people tell us how each and every single one of their blessings that they received from us was fulfilled during that year. And as a result of their donations, they got many, many more folds of blessings than they could ever imagine. Please, partner with us during this time of the year. Be generous and also be understanding that this is the time where every single one of us gets judged and every one of us needs a little help. If we help HaKadosh Baruch Hu's children, spiritually and materially, there is no doubt in my mind that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will also help us as well. Thank you very much for all of your support over the years. May Hashem continue to bless you, and BeEzrat HaShem, we will all have a Shana Tova.
ידידיי ואהוביי, אחיי ואחיותיי היקרים, אם שמתם לב, ארגון בעזרת השם פעיל במשך כל השנה. הפעילות שלו מתבצעת במישור הגשמי והרוחני. זאת אומרת, לדאוג לאחינו בית ישראל, גם לנשמה וגם לגוף. ישנם אנשים שעניים בתורה. ישנם אנשים שעניים מבחינה כלכלית. לקחנו על עצמנו את התפקיד הקשה לדאוג גם מבחינה רוחנית וגם מבחינה גשמית לכלל ישראל בארץ ובעולם. ברוך השם עד היום נעזרו על ידינו עשרות אלפי אנשים. משפחות נזקקות לא רק מבחינה רוחנית, גם מבחינה גשמית, אם זה סלים בחגים, אם זה אוכל, אם זה שתייה, אם זה עזרה בעניינים רפואיים, בכל דבר ועניין שהיה נרתמנו לעזור, והחידוש הגדול שלא על מנת לקבל פרס. בלי אחוזים, בלי עניינים, עוד הפוך. ראשי הארגון באים ותורמים מכספם את כל מה שצריך כדי לבוא ולעזור לעם ישראל. זה הארגון היחיד שאני יכול לבוא ולהעיד שכולו לשם שמיים. לכן ידידיי ואהוביי, אנחנו מבקשים את עזרתכם לבוא ולהמשיך להפוך את העולם למקום יותר טוב. הן מבחינה רוחנית, הן מבחינה גשמית. ואנחנו בקמפיין הקבוע שלנו לימים נוראים, לפני החגים, שאנחנו באים ודואגים לאלפי אנשים בסלי מזון, בעזרה לחגים ובשאר מצרכים. לצורך זה פתחנו בקמפיין גיוס המונים של עזרה לנזקקים, ועוד קמפיין של תמיכה כללית בפעילות הארגון שנלחם במשך כל השנה בכוחות הרע, בעניינים של כפירה, בהפצת תורה ויהדות. כל מי שירצה לבוא ולהיות שותף, כאן בדף הזה של הקמפיין, מוזמן לבוא ויקבל ברכת שמיים, שכל משאלות לבכם יתקיימו לטובה. שנה טובה ומתוקה, שנה טובה ומבורכת, ארגון בעזרת השם.